And yay. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. Okay, so I'm so excited for this call. This has been a long time coming. I've been wanting to express how Purium, how this opportunity and the foods help artists. That's very near and dear to my heart. And we're joined here by two other brand partners who are artists as well. So we're going to be hearing from Pam, who's a visual artist, and Kiev, who's a jewelry designer, and myself and Jared and a special treat at the end. So please stay tuned. And I'd love if Pam, if you can start us off and give us your share.
Sorry about that. So yeah, I'm Pam, and I'll just tell you a little bit about me. So I went to school to be an artist, art teacher. Believe it or not, for 20 years after that, I never thought of myself as an artist. I had no confidence, didn't do any art, raised my kids. About 8 or 9 years ago, I was diagnosed with chronic Lyme. So I'm just trying to talk about how my health and my art really connect together. Um, Before that, I never had any idea about the food we eat impacting our health. Never gave it a second glance, you know? So, I was introduced some different ways to change my eating habits. So, once I started changing the way I ate, it started changing the way I felt about myself. And a few years ago, I was introduced to the idea of like it's some radical idea about learning to love ourselves. And I was like, wow, that was another big step for me to acknowledge that I love myself to make choices. So through these, I'd say about the last 8 to 10 years is when I really started focusing on health and my art. And it's really changed my life because I learned to love myself. I gained confidence, and the health part really impacted my art because it was giving me better focus. And then that whole mind, body, soul, spirit thing all came into play with my art. And yeah, now it's all happening. And I'll just tell you really quick, I joined Purium about a year ago, became a brand partner. And because I really want to focus on my art, I sold my business with the intention of just focusing on my art. And this is allowing me to do it all. So life is pretty good.
Um, that is so inspiring. I'm so happy that you can now claim your yourself as an artist and have the self-love to be able to, own that and to feel so proud about that and to pursue that as a career and just having the time and the income source, to be able to focus on your art. Because I know when we have to be in, fight or flight and survival mode and working long hours, we cannot fit. That takes a real backseat. So I'm so happy, grateful the world is getting to see your art. And thank you for your share, Pam. That's really awesome. Kiev, I would love for you to share now just being a jewelry designer, and this came into your life when you already had established yourself as, a jewelry designer. How has this opportunity helped you in your art and opportunity? And yeah.
Hi, I'm so happy that we're having this call. It is so long overdue. And to me, I find it's so special because they are the two branches of my life that are so important to me for so many different reasons, right? So I'm so happy to be having this call and to actually be merging these two branches together through this, right? And being able to share my story as an artist, as a jewelry designer and creator, right? I don't just design it, I make it myself. So I work with fire, I work with tools, I work with hammers and all that. I'm very much I work with my hands a lot. And so I started creating jewelry, it was 10 years ago. And you know, I have this belief. I'm It's not this belief, but I never thought that jewelry was really a useful thing, right? I felt that I was kind of adding into this world of consumerism and capitalism and kind of just creating a need for people that truthfully, do they really need it? You know, do you really need jewelry? And a lot of people will have the argument of, well, it's the way that we show up in the world is how we show ourselves in the world. And jewelry has, you know, our heirlooms, and they come in traditions. And you know, when you make a wedding ring or when you make an engagement ring, there's so much significance to it, right? So, but there was always that little thought in the back of my head of, am I really helping people? Or am I creating a need? You know, and so those who know me, those who know my work, uh, who will always argue with me that my work, my artwork, really comes in and empowers women and empowers people, you know, and empowers individuals just through wearing it. Because if you go look at my art, there's a lot of statement pieces that speak very loudly. And I think that is one of the most wonderful things in my work, in my line of jewelry, in my artwork, and I love doing it. But I needed something a little bit more than that. I was like, you know, I grew up in a world, you know, thinking like I'm going to help people and I'm going to do something big. And I didn't feel like it was enough, of course. We always want to do more, achieve more, help more, create more, right? And so when this opportunity came into my life, and it came a little bit disguised. I didn't really know that it was going to impact the world and that it was going to impact hundreds and thousands of people the way that it has. Is that when it came into my life, when this opportunity came into my life, it helped me as a mom, right? But in the end, we've had so much impact on people when it comes to their health, when it comes to just making their life more convenient and easier, when it comes to financial stability. This is the part I love talking about, because finally we're helping people achieve financial stability while helping them with their health with a product that is all around amazing, and a company that just has so many values that align with mine. And so to me, it's just been, you know, a blessing in disguise to be able to share these superfoods and to feel like I'm creating an impact in the world. And both branches of my life have actually helped me up level both sides. So as an artist, it's been great to be able to share these superfoods, to get creative in this business. You get to be creative, which is something that I really, really appreciate. You can't be boring. You get to take photos, you get to do videos, you get to connect with people. And so and that also ties in with, I didn't want to be a starving artist. And so the financial opportunity, you know, the opportunity for financial freedom that comes with this business for an artist, just it really helps us to not be the starving artist. I don't think we need to be that anymore. So thank you for allowing me to share here.
Thank you so much for sharing here. I love seeing you on calls at your workshop. You're always, doing that. And what's so cool is that you get to be, like before you would have just been at your workshop, working. Now you're getting to still be doing what you love, while you're also creating another residual income stream, and like learning and growing the personal development and everything that comes along with it, which I'm sure also helps you to communicate with your clients, and the marketing that we learn and all that stuff. And I love seeing how you create content, because I know you're also a photographer, and it's just really awesome to see how you've been able to really make the Purium business your own unique. All of us are, actually, we're all artists, and we all have the ability to, we're actually encouraged to really make this our own and to really get creative with this business. And so, yeah, well, Jared, yeah, my story first. Okay. So I really relate with you, Pam, where you said that, you didn't like call yourself an artist for a really long time, and you didn't pursue that. And I know how much that's tied into our self-worth. And I studied art as well at school. Actually, I struggled a lot in school, and art was my only thing that I was always very confident at. It was just, that was something that came naturally to me. I love to draw and I love to create. And then because of my learning disabilities, I was put on Ritalin. And I wish I hadn't been because that really destroyed my creative center and that connection to source that I had. And even though, so after high school, I felt pretty disconnected from my art. Well, I was still, that was still my strong point. But then I went into fine arts for college, and my confidence was destroyed in fine arts because my level was just not, at the same, like, because it was sort of my little hobby that I loved. I never really pursued it as like a technical, like, and so my confidence was crushed. And so the one thing that I had going for me in all of school that I thought was my strong point was then it was like it was just destroyed. And I went through a very dark night of the soul for a decade at least, where I couldn't even create. And so I went into fashion design thinking, well, at least it's something creative. And like Kiev, like I wanted to help people. And I was like, well, my way of helping people will be through styling them and helping them, make beautiful clothing or find beautiful clothing. I ended up going into styling because it's very hard. I learned quite early on to, like, you need a lot of money to create your own clothing line. And it's just not what it was. The industry is not what it was 100 years ago when people could do that from, domestic, from their own city. Montreal used to be a fashion garment district, and now everything was taken to China. It's just like so disconnected. And I really, really didn't like the fashion industry. I worked in all facets of the industry because I was just trying. I'm like, I guess this is all I can do. And then Purium came into my life. And what Purium did for me, like you were talking about self-love, it gave me so much. First of all, like it like restored a lot of the damage I had done when I lost myself over all those years. And it also rewired my brain to start from all the damage that those medications had done to me. I really felt my neurotransmitters like actually making new connections and really finding my connection to my creativity and to creating again. So I'm still healing that through the opportunity that I have now with this freedom, that I could do that. I can actually focus on, drawing and working with our kids. I love that I get to, do projects with my kids now and live, practice through them kind of, and just having that confidence that that Purium gives us to, to really start to create again and have fun creating. And Jared, please share your
Sure.
experience with
Thank
how this is.
Absolutely. Thank you. So, I came from an artistic background, doing film editing, video editing, sketching, drawing, things like that. I think what happened though was, for a lot of people, and it happens for many, is that your art becomes your trade. And when you monetize your creativity, sometimes I think that could maybe like suck a little bit of the life force from it, unfortunately. I'm still very passionate about editing, but when it was my livelihood, it became more mundane and more kind of like a chore.
Commercial
Yeah.
stuff.
And the more I got into the technical side of these things, like graphic design and editing, I think the less creative spark I had. It was more just kind of going through the motions of it. And, there's a little bit of joy there, but not like what I discovered later. And the food, the nutrition of Purium, because it's so, nourishing, what it does is it kind of removes a lot of the thinking that you have to do when it comes to meal preparation and eating. And that quality of food, that purity, you're making new connections, like we're talking about. You're like scrubbing neuroreceptor sites, and detoxification pathways are cleared. So you're thinking really clearly. So now what we do is this business, this opportunity has become like an outlet for the creativity. And like he have said, it's like we're in charge of marketing. We can market it however we want. Whatever lights us up, that's what we're encouraged to share, which is really freeing. And we'll just
We don't
share.
have to answer to any art directors and, different
No
CEOs that
way.
you had to do before when you were
I
working
don't
for other
answer to
people.
anybody.
Yeah.
So like I could just show like my
Show your
artwork.
art, because
Oh,
actually Jared had no time to draw. So
yeah.
even when we got married, I didn't even know he had this ability. And then I watched before my eyes. He would do these, like when we first started eating the food and having this freedom, he would just sit and bang
Sketch,
these
yeah.
sketches out. Like I, in front of my eyes, like I would witness like the most incredible art come to life. Jared, show some of
And
your,
so,
yeah.
yeah, like I would get really clear on what I wanted to see. And then, I'd look at these beautiful, inviting homes and pictures, and I wanted to capture it in my own way, just a freehand sketch. And, I'm really trying to capture the mood. And I don't think I ever could have done this if I wasn't thinking clearly and having a clear mind, body, my connection to my mind, to my hand was clear. And I also had the free time now to do these things. Even though this has only taken an hour or two to create, I had that time freedom. I didn't have to cram it into my lunch break or squeeze it in after the kids were in bed. It was like, no, these are just daytime enjoyable things that Allison and I could do together.
Yeah. And little did he know these were his manifestations coming to life as he was drawing them, because now we
Yeah.
get to create our dream home, and we're, a lot of it is looking like some of his sketches.
And then in terms of video content, like Pure Him, we can do whatever we want. Honestly, like obviously we stay within certain limitations. You can't say anything, but the fact that we advertise this how we want, like we can make like silly videos and get creative with the editing. That was really like really amazing, and it's just what we want to duplicate for all the artists out there.
Yeah.
Should we share the video? So
Yeah.
this is
Okay.
another couple from Montreal. So this is maybe I'll just pause it for a second. So Lady Dove and Satya, so Mr. Raven, the DJ and musicians, and they're super talented. And they too want to create a collective for artists, a container so that artists could come together and live and work and play in the same space and get
And they host
nourished.
like sober, what's the dance parties?
Yeah.
What's the word? Not eclectic.
Ecstatic
Ecstatic
dance.
dance parties. Yeah. And it goes so well. Our foods go perfectly with ecstatic dance parties, sober dance parties. And let's be real, like most people, a lot of people are going sober now. So we need more entertain, like night and gathering and social events that don't revolve around, that revolve around health and superfood. So let's hear what they did with it. Let's go and
I'll play a little bit of this.
yeah, let's listen to this.
The world make it go further. Straight the white lines hanging out your nose with something that beats the way it's supposed. Come on, get high on natural supply. We got healthy steps for you to apply from the morning, midday, and at night. You all taking care of at your own delight. A whole step to a new reality. Be introduced to a supportive community that take their health more importantly. Inspiration and tips full of positivity. Hey. Make a commitment, stay consistent, be transformed once you get your shipment. Your blender, your shaker, your collagen booster, feel thinner, leaner, and stronger. Look and feel and perform better. Amino 23 lifting heavier. Feel my soul friends back during sweats. You hear me? Hear young sweats. Telling you well.
We got some of our community getting in on this music video.
Telling you well.
And Lady Dove also works in skincare, which is also, to do with our food. It all comes together.
Fake food is a lie that creates disease. Allergy brings fog. Oh, baby, please. Let me tell you what we got. Here you got. Who else is a golden? You know me. You know me.
Yeah, are you in this video? I don't know. No, you make it into this one. Okay.
We'll do a
Next
remix.
time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get to have so much fun. You wouldn't believe I've actually started to rap, and I'm creating music as well. So
Songwriting.
I'll be dropping one of my singles coming out soon. But this gives us the freedom to really explore our passions, our, having an income so that we can really do what matters and invest in what we love. And so Pam, do you want to share anything else? Yeah, go ahead, because you had a short share.
Yeah, I just wanted to, yeah, sorry, I'm not as used to speaking as you guys are, so it's a little hard. for me, a big thing is as an intuitive painter, actually, that's one of my paintings. In the past, I find, when your body is not at health, you're not optimizing your brain and that intuitiveness, that creativity. So that gut health and clearing your mind is so important as an artist. I mean, it's made such a big difference. And now I'm like, it's just flowing. The ideas flow. And before that, I really struggled to come into myself as an artist. So made a huge difference.
That's a huge yeah, I really want to drive that point home. Our gut is our intuition, our creativity. And we always say like listen to your gut, but if our gut is damaged and you know compromised in ways that are most of us are, we can't even be that clear channel. We can't get those clear connections to what we're here to create. And I found myself also just scared of the blank page. When my gut was unhealthy, I didn't have ideas. And now with a clean gut, it really opens up that channel. Yeah. Thank you. Do you have anything else you wanted to share before we close up?
Something had come to mind when Jared was speaking, but I lost it. So I guess I guess we'll leave it at that, and it'll give me inspiration to share something else later.
Exactly. We need
you.
to keep sharing about this.
Mhm.
I think it's a very important topic. I think all of us have an artist inside us. And we all have gifts that we just never have the opportunity in our, matrix kind of life to even explore. So we want to encourage that everyone gets really creative here. This is a safe place to get creative and to explore. And it's a great community. I wear all Kiev jewelry now, so we get to, and I know in our home, we're going to have Pam art on our walls. And, this is just a beautiful collective. Yes. Yeah.
Well, here's to more connections, our internal connections, clearing pathways, and finding new ways to earn an income. So, everyone should have residual income in their portfolio. And here's a very easy way. There's no investment in the business. All you have to do is buy the food that nourishes you, and the business comes free. So,
yeah. So there's artists in your life. If you are one, this is, please feel free to reach out to one of us. We will be so happy to show you the ropes and get you started. So, and the food, by the way, is so beautiful. It's so vibrant. And for artists, it's like eye candy. So I love just working with the rainbow.
taking pictures of the food, of
yeah.
the superfood. No.
Love it. All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you both. Thanks for everyone for watching.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much.
Keep creating.
See you soon. Bye.